Welcome to this conversation. Today, we're going to talk about the implant treatment coordinator, one of the most essential team members in any implant practice. The implant treatment coordinator is a key figure because she plays a major role in implant dentistry, case presentation, and she actually increases the production time of the doctor by 20%, which can lead to a 31% increase in practice profitability. That's called leverage, that's a multiplier, and that's amazing. The implant treatment coordinator has the role of overseeing all aspects administratively of the implant practice. She handles case consults, communication with referring doctors, communication with implant sales representatives. She handles almost everything except for clinical implant dentistry. And in some cases, she even does that. The implant treatment coordinator originated at Levin Group as a person who could take a great burden off the doctor and free doctors up to give them enough time to focus clinically. What we've learned in working with literally hundreds and hundreds of implant surgical practices and growing them by 20, 25, 30% or more in a single year is that the doctors are overwhelmed. Think about it. Most implant surgical practices only place around 200 to 250 implants per year. Yet the Levin Group target is a minimum of 400 implants per year per doctor. Now, why are they stifled at 200 implants per year? And even if you're doing 250, don't be excited. It's not bad, but you need to be at 400 or more. And we're building these practices all the time. Why are you below your potential? And the answer is you run out of time. When you start building an implant practice, you're out there talking to referring doctors, you're educating them, you're doing what needs to be done. You're building relationships, you may be doing some marketing, or maybe you don't have a lot of competition. You're also doing all the case consults, ordering, communication with representatives, follow up with referring doctors, placing the implants themselves, follow up with patients, and I could go on and on. We take 95% of that off the implant surgeon and put it onto the implant treatment coordinator. This makes sense. In any good business model, you want to take the top producer and take off their back anything that isn't production. Implant surgeons excel at implant surgery. That's what they should be doing. The implant treatment coordinator excels at sales. As I often ask in the many implant seminars I'm asked to present each year, what is the job description of the implant treatment coordinator in one word? And you know what's interesting? Doctors rarely know the answer, but implant treatment coordinators raise their hand and they say sales. Sales is what an implant treatment coordinator does. Everything is built around that. She's closing cases with patients, she's communicating with referring offices, she's involving the implant sales representative, she's sending them to the referring offices when necessary to help with cases, she's ordering component parts if they have to be delivered to the referring offices. She understands that her role is having patients referred and having patients say yes. In fact, we teach that she needs to be measured every single day. Now, if you're a doctor watching this, this makes you a bit nervous. I'm a dentist as well, and we hate to be measured because anytime we get rejection, we get depressed. But salespeople are built differently. ITCs, implant treatment coordinators, get motivated by rejection. They get annoyed by rejection. They don't get depressed. They want to learn from it, figure out what to do, and take it to the next step. They want to win the next time and the next time and the next time. And winning isn't getting a no, winning isn't getting a maybe, winning is have that patient accept treatment. Now please understand, some of you watching this don't think you need an implant treatment coordinator. Why? Because your patients are generally saying yes to implant dentistry. That's another reason you're maxing out at around 200 implants a year. Because you think you may be closing 90% of all the patients who come to you for an implant consult. But the truth is that you're only getting the hottest of the hot, filtered of the filtered patients. With no disrespect, anyone could get these patients to say yes. It's not that you're really good at sales, even though we get that impression by our reinforcement of people saying yes. And many doctors don't believe me, but until you get to 400, you don't have the right kind of patients coming in. We want the hottest of the hot filter to the filter because they're great. They say yes, it's wonderful. But the truth is that we also want the patients who aren't as interested. And Levin Group has a data center, the Levin Group Data Center, and one piece of data that is fascinating and depressing is that 35% of all referrals to implant surgeons by general dentists never make an appointment. Let me say that again in case it didn't register. 35% of all implant patients referred for a consult to an implant surgeon never make the appointment. By the way, if their practice, the GP practice, calls and makes the appointment, 95% show up. But that's out of Levin Group Implant Management, which is not our topic today. Back to the ITC. The ITC is spectacular because we've got rules. Every implant consult needs to be seen within 7 days. Implant cases need to be started as often as possible within 7 to 10 days. Too many people lose their motivation. Something else comes into their lives and they cancel their consult or cancel their surgery. We need not only the hottest of the hottest filter to the filtered, but we need the next level. And when we get that next level, doctors run out of time, which is one reason we need the ITC. There are 20 reasons we need ITCs, but one of the most important is they have the time to spend an hour with every implant referral within 7 days of that referral being made. They've got the time to build relationships with referring doctors that implant surgeons no longer have. By the time you get to 200 or 250 implants a year, you're out of time and you're out of new implants. You're maxed out. Add an ITC, you can easily handle 400 to 600 implant surgery placements a year, with the ITC bringing 95% of all administration and taking it off the doctor's back. Naturally, you will need a powerful marketing program, and it's a different marketing program than the basic referral marketing program that we teach at Levin Group. It's about education and creating comfort for referring doctors. So go back, talk to your ITC, hire an ITC, because as a final note, there aren't that many investments we make as doctors that have a multi-million-dollar return. But the right ITC will literally bring a multi-million-dollar return over the next 5, 10, or 20 years that you're in practice. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you want more information, go to the Levin Group website, hit the tab that says Resource Center. There's lots of fantastic free information available for you there.